Good morning! The reason you are seeing this is very simple. I've run out of time to do my editing before I go away. Plenty of time to actually redo the recording, but I've run out of time editing. I'm just doing shot tracer on the video for the 22nd of November. Should be able to knock it out tonight, but I'm recording tomorrow, which is Sunday, and I'm recording Wednesday. Now I might be able to finish off Sunday's video, but I'm certainly not going to be able to get Wednesday's video edited and uploaded to YouTube. One thing I'm not doing on holiday is sitting in my hotel room doing shot tracer and editing. I can't be bothered to pick it up. I'm not even bringing my microphone on holiday, so I'm not doing any voiceover or anything. I can't believe it's here. You know, when you're 280 days out and you're thinking, God, that's a long way away, and then all of a sudden well, what time is it? It's 5 in the evening, so it would be midnight on Phuket. So I would most definitely have arrived, and hopefully I'll be asleep. It's a 7-hour time difference, so the first week of the holiday tends to be you go to bed at a reasonable time because you're absolutely knackered. So you might be in bed by 10 o'clock even, 10 in the evening, and then at 1 o'clock you're wide awake, and then you're awake for hours, and then you eventually fall asleep. You have a couple of hours sleep, the alarm goes off, and the next thing you're off to the golf course and you're yawning your way around the golf course, which is why I go for 3 weeks, because when I used to go for 2 weeks, the first week was sometimes a bit of a washout golf wise, because you don't have any energy whatsoever. And now I'm getting a wee bit older and most definitely don't have any energy. I'm not going to tell you about the holiday in this video, other than I can't wait for a week to go past. Now when I come back from the golf course, I will of course be emptying the camera into the laptop, and then I've got 2 camera batteries to charge, which take about 40 minutes each. So there'll be 1:20 hours in the hotel room anyway while these things are happening. And it's in that moment that I will hopefully get on the laptop while the batteries are charging and answer a few comments on videos. And don't forget, I've got 2 YouTube channels to maintain, so 2 lots of different people answering or asking different questions. And I do love interacting with people in the comments. As you notice, I answer all comments, unless of course you're blocked. Unfortunately, every now and then you get somebody come in and you've got to block them. You remember the hybrid video? I didn't put shot tracer on. I recorded it on Sunday. Monday I was working. Monday evening I just had to knock it out and get it uploaded real quick for the Tuesday, because it was going to be a Tuesday shorty. So I didn't do shot tracer. And I didn't tell you how far the ball went. It's unimportant. What was important for me is that the 4 hybrid went the length that I wanted it to, and the 3 hybrid went the length that I wanted it to. And there was a guy in there complaining that I hadn't used shot tracer, I hadn't given TrackMan numbers. He'd given me a thumbs down. He felt his opinion was that important that he had to tell me he'd given me a thumbs down, and that he wouldn't be watching any more videos. So I blocked him, because he can still watch the video and he can still leave a comment, but he's the only person who can see the comment. I can't see it, you can't see it. He's effectively in his own little box talking to himself. When you get somebody like that, you think, should I argue with them? Should I debate with them? But the YouTube says just block them. Do not get into arguments with people. Block them, or if they're foul-mouthed, report them. So that's what I did, I just blocked him. But just out of interest, that video, I've just checked, that video earned me £6.92. That's estimated, it's probably less. And of that £6.92, I would pay 8 or 9% tax in America. And the cost of hiring a TrackMan studio to make a video to tell you the TrackMan numbers is about £25. So it's not particularly cost effective for me to do TrackMan on anything because it cost me so much. Even if I did a what's in the bag and went all the way from sandwich to driver and I filled up the entire hour of the £25 hire with me hitting balls into a TV screen just so that you can see how far the ball goes off each club, I still only make about £6.90 off that video. So I'm into a huge loss, especially when you consider the time and the diesel involved in driving to somewhere that's got a TrackMan studio. So it's pointless me doing that. I'm not one of the big YouTubers. I do not have a lot of money. I can't afford my own studio costing £35,000 like some of these guys do. Right, I'll mention two things about the holiday. I was once asked, with the humidity out in Thailand, does the ball go shorter? Golf balls work at their best above 25 degrees centigrade. Certainly above 20 they start to actually wake up a bit. See, when they're warm they're soft, so when you hit them they squish against the face of the club and then they reform back into a ball and spring off the club face. That's why the ball speed is higher than the club head speed. It's the deformation and then reformation of the golf ball back into a sphere. And the warmer the ball is, the more it squishes, so the more it springs off. You know, pros do not hit the ball as far if they play in an English or American very cold winter anywhere in the northern hemisphere. If they play in the winter, I can assure you Rory McIlroy is not hitting the ball 330 yards. It's going quite a bit shorter when he's playing in 5 degrees centigrade, or even, as we do guys, on some frosty mornings when it's about -5. So when it comes to this, if you remember the lake ball, and I said you pick when I play with this, I got a lot of suggestions to go out and take this out around about Christmas or New Year. Well, anybody who's testing golf balls outside around Christmas and New Year when the temperature could be freezing is wasting their time. This is a Pro V1. This is most certainly one of the longest balls on the planet in proper temperature. It's not the longest ball on the planet when it's around freezing, I can assure you of that. One of the best winter balls that you can have is actually a very cheap Srixon soft feel. So the two options are, one, take it out of the water now and take it on holiday, or two, save it until April when it's, see, even at the end of April when it's only 17 or 18 degrees centigrade, it's still going to be underperforming because of the temperature. Now, I did some more research into lake balls, and there are guys who dive for companies and they get as much as $100,000 a year diving for the company. The independents, they're obviously making all the money they make is for themselves, but then they've got to carry the overheads themselves. So basically, I don't know how much, golf balls are cheaper in America, I think. Here, a dozen Pro V1s is 50 quid now. You might get them discounted to 48, but they're essentially £50. And these balls go for about half the price. So they're about half price. So essentially, a company that has paid a golf course thousands of dollars a year to dive, and they're paying a diver up to $100,000 a year to dive for them. They don't leave $2 notes on the bottom of the lake very long for them to get stained and horrible and turn into basically 50 cents. So they're going out very often to get these. They might have 20 golf courses, looking on the internet. They might be paying 20 golf courses to dive. So that's 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month. They're visiting every golf course once a month to get their money. Now if you think, well, people don't lose a lot of golf balls in water. 2011, a guy came with me to Thailand. We played 9 rounds of golf. My estimate is he lost 3 dozen balls to the water. And he was an 8 handicap. He wasn't a hacker, he was an 8 handicap. But he was an aggressive 8 handicap. You're playing lamb shebang. He lost 6 balls in 4 holes to the water. And I know he lost other balls on other rounds. He certainly got headed toward losing 3 dozen balls in 9 rounds of golf because he could not control himself. He was aggressive, he had to hit driver, he had to go for par 5s over water in 2. He had to take everything on. He was desperate to show me what a great golfer he was. And in 9 rounds of golf he didn't come close to shooting his handicap because he was doing this an awful lot. Still, it gives the local kids something to dive for and make some money. When you head towards a golf course, you will tend to see bags and bags of balls hanging up outside of locals' houses, and you just ask the driver to stop and you go along the bags and you pick up a bag of your favourite brand, and they will have been lost by people like him who came with me. So the way to solve this is basically to toss a coin. And I've got one of the best coins in the world in which to toss with. That's my American silver dollar. I love American silver dollars. They're not a bad investment really. I mean, this one only cost me $7 and it's worth about 19 now, I think. So heads, it's coming with me. Tails, it's staying in the jar until the end of April. Heads, it's coming with me, which is about the appropriate amount of time that it will have spent on the bottom anyway, in reality. In the real world, somebody in Florida has gone to play golf and he's sliced off the first with a brand new golf ball and it's gone in the drink. And then somebody's been paid £100,000 a year to pull thousands of these per day out of the drink. So I suppose the next thing to do is to empty this out and see if it's actually stained. I pulled some out of the pond the other day and they were heavily stained, but they'd probably been in there for months and months and months, because obviously you don't get divers on ordinary golf courses. They just go to the resort courses where loads and loads of corporate people play. So I'll go and empty this outside and we'll see what it looks like. Well, I've got it out. There was a slight sort of stain on it, and which rinsed straight off. So I'll take this on holiday, and I tell you what, I'll mark it up so I know which is which between the various golf balls, and I'll play with this at Laguna, and hopefully I won't turn it into a real lake ball. But it's been in there about the same amount of time that a lake ball spends in there. Now, I don't have a lot of game. In fact, I don't have a lot of confidence. It's not surprising considering how little golf I've played. So my friend Neville, who I'm in contact with regular, said, why don't you watch some of your old videos and see what the difference is? So I looked at the difference between now and Phuket 2.5 years ago. Was it 3.5? I don't know. Is it 3.5? However long it was. I got in just after they opened the border, after the COVID lockdowns. What I see is somebody who's enjoying himself, somebody who's relaxed, doesn't look to be under pressure at all, somebody who's confident, and somebody who seems to have a lot more mobility than I do at this moment in time. So I'm hoping that a little bit of warmth, playing more often, and getting some work done on my back, quite cheaply compared to here, which is damned expensive. And the other thing is, when I'm out on the golf course here recording, I'm always thinking about what I might say to the camera next, or what I might, sometimes I will talk to this thing to remind myself of what to say in the voiceover, but I'm always thinking about what I'm going to say, which interferes with the golf. Now when I'm over there, I'm not going to be editing videos for a very long time. I'm not going to be doing any silly breaking 100 videos by going out with just a 6-iron, or breaking 90 or breaking 80. I'm just going to play golf. I'm not going to be thinking about what I'm going to say, so hopefully it will be better. Plus I've got to think about my takeaway. So I'm going to be slowing down. See, I'm just doing shot trace on the phone. Oh, the phone's timed out. Which takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours. One thing I do to make that shorter is rush to the camera, hit record, rush to hit my shot, rush back to the camera to stop the recording. Because the shorter the clip, the shorter time it takes to do shot tracer. So what I've got to change my habit into hitting record and then taking enough time to hit a decent shot. And if the clip happens to be 48 seconds long instead of 32 seconds long, and it takes a bit longer to do shot tracer, then so be it. As I say, the longer the clip, the longer it takes. So I need to concentrate on playing golf, and I need to concentrate on some swing mechanics, and I need to take a little bit more time, and hopefully I'll have a decent tour. This year I have not broken my handicap once. Not once. Not on camera, not off camera. So hopefully I'll do it there. But I'm going to need a body that works a lot better. So I hope you enjoy the upcoming holiday videos. I won't put anything out over Christmas and New Year because nobody watches them anyway, because they're all too busy. So you're going to see a gap. You're going to have a week where there isn't a video, and then Christmas, New Year where there might be 2 videos missing. But I'll be back. The other thing I'm wondering is, what am I going to do for golf when I come back? Obviously taking a lot of time off isn't good for my game. Who would have guessed? But also, if it's raining and wet, just like last spring, courses are going to be closed. So we shall do what we can. Thanks for watching to the end of this. I know some people will have turned off after about 3 minutes. Well, never mind. They missed out. Cheerio.